got 3 more series to get through today. FaZe Clan starting things off with a relatively quick 3-0 there over Enigma 6. I'm your host, Katie Bedford, joined by Nameless Study and Pac-Man on your desk. Now, coming up, we do have Units versus Evil Geniuses. And on that note, we want to focus on a specific player from Units. Of course, he played through the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Open Bracket, but has now made it onto that Pro League team Units, and it's Cammy. Now, that moment for him, that's gotta feel great, right? You've made that jump, you're here, you're at Pro League, and you get to perform.
Gotta be feeling good. I remember Cammy was picked up on Team Sween after Dylan was picked up on Reciprocity. He was playing with Nulse, he was playing with Weeman, so he has a chemistry with these guys. Now he's in the league, playing with the same guys he's basically been playing with the entire game. So he's able to just be happy with himself going into this, being able to be in the Pro League.
I'm excited to watch him going forward because we really haven't been able to watch much Cammy, and in that first match against UIU, he really did go off.
Yeah.
I've never played with this guy before. I've never seen him play. That's a pretty good first match to come through and perform with your new teammates. So you can see what Cammy can do going forward against pro teams.
Yeah. Are you guys worried, though, for Units kind of as a whole? Because going into this series, we've got the stat that they've kind of been struggling with their S&D so far in this cross-div. I think 6-4 loss to UIU and a 6-1 loss to LG. So is that a concern for any of you guys, you think, or maybe not really?
Yeah, it's a concern. I talked to Joe, though, in the back when they were warming up, and he goes, Ant, I'm going off today. I said, why? He's like, just tell people that, please. Joe, I think that's the most words Joe has ever said to me ever. I think Joe is about to have the performance of his life right now. Look at him. Look at that fire in his eyes. He hasn't blinked once.
I had one of those moments too. Joe spoke to me once in 3 years, and the one time he spoke to me, he was hilarious.
Yo, Joe's awesome.
Joe is hilarious. I hope he does go off. I hope this.
On a real note, though,
can step it up.
They got destroyed by Luminosity yesterday. It was like Brack had his way with them, Skies and Formal. The teamwork's just not there to compete with those players that are on that next level of talent that are able to just get those 2 pieces. So, if they have good teamwork, because where they lack that talent, they can make up for it with teamwork. They need to get that. I mean, it worked versus UIU, because they just aren't a very good team. But going up against Evil Geniuses has looked very good. So we might see a performance similar to what Luminosity put on yesterday here.
Yeah, and of course, on that side of Evil Geniuses, then they've got that talent, they've got that roster with the history behind it. So, butting heads with them, Units, you think Study will have an upward climb here, or maybe have we not seen enough of Evil Geniuses yet to say that?
No, Evil Geniuses is still developing. One thing coming in from last week with their last roster, I remember Exotic was running a SOG, and then yesterday, for at least the last couple of days, he's been running back on that main Maddox. We saw him 4-piece splice yesterday, but they look a lot more comfortable. They keep going to Game 5s, at least they're both series that they played so far. But with Attach yesterday, I remember you said it on the first day, that first series he had a 1.3, and you asked if he was able to keep that up, how would the team be able to do? Yesterday he had a 0.8. Fortunately, they lost. So obviously he's gonna have to be able to keep up sort of a performance like that. But just overall, the team is just looking like they're getting better as they go. So I'm expecting Units, they basically started from scratch. These guys only changed 1 player.
I mean, yeah, Evil Genius has been solid at Search and Destroy. They lost 1 yesterday in that Game 5, but other than that, they've been great. It's really been their control that they've consistently been losing, so if they could fix that, they'll be a very solid roster.
They choked 2 rounds yesterday, too, in that control. They could have been a 3-0.
And they could have won that, right? But yeah, choking control, that's how you lose control. You give away a life that you shouldn't give away, and then you end up losing it. So that's something that they definitely have to fix going forward. I think it's something that also will hold them back from being a top 6 team, consistent.
Are you worried, Pac-Man, that there might be some reliability issues in Exotic and how he plays? Because we've seen him do some great plays, and we've seen him get world stored a couple times.
It's more in the clutch moments. That's what actually worries me with Exotic. Throughout the normal games, throughout the league games, he does his thing. He does fine. But in those clutch moments, he seems to be. Sometimes it happens where, yesterday, who gunned him in a fight that he shouldn't have won at the end of the game, where other players will win that fight.
We had a saying for players like that back in our day. We called them soft.
Yeah.
You don't win those gunfights.
Back in the day.
If you don't win those gunfights where you clearly have the advantage, game-changing gunfight, you're soft. So you gotta stop being soft.
Yeah.
All right. Then this desk. Who's the softest on the desk of the 3 of you?
What? Yo, y'all can surround me. I'm coming out of that.
Kidding me?
Coming out of that. Victoria's soft.
Charmin soft.
These hands are.
Charmin
You can catch these hands.
Baby
they're free
soft.
and they're ready. So they're legal too. So meet me after the desk, fam.
Okay, we're ready to get into things. Evil Geniuses versus Units with Merg and Maven.
Yeah, it's definitely Nameless. That guy loses a Trading Shot episode. He's taken to Instagram, Twitter, YouTube comments, letting everybody know he should win. No, I vote Nameless.
Yeah, Joe, did you really think I didn't argue that well? Like, what?
He's yelling in the background now. But for this particular series, EG, they beat 100 Thieves. They take Splice the distance. I feel like I should feel like this will be a comfortable series for EG. Why do I feel like this is going 5 games, Joe?
Because EG's done it all week, right?
I guess that's true. I guess.
No, but I think we know that this EG team, at least throughout the year, has just been very inconsistent. And I think the guys were talking about it with Attach. Obviously, what he did against 100 Thieves was a bit ridiculous. An all-star performance. We know you're not going to get that all the time, but yesterday, back down to earth, has like a 0.8. Like, there's just some players on this team that, I don't know, they just haven't been as consistent as we've expected them to be. And we know units, well, they can be a solid team.
Yeah, well, they're the biggest question mark for me within this division. I mean, when the team formed, just because we haven't seen some of the guys play on LAN, they go back to the full European squad with their, organizations and stuff falling apart, not having housing here. So it's been kind of a difficult situation for Rated and Joe throughout the course of this year. But yeah, I just saw the team change. I was like, okay, I guess we'll see. I didn't even know how to grade it. Like, if we would have had them on trading shows, I don't even know what I would have said. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know what to really expect from them. But
well, I think good thing for like Rated is now he can run full-time Maddox and he wants to be that playmaker. But at least from my perspective, when I look at Joe and Rated, those are not superstars. When they've been on good teams, they've been surrounded by superstars, and they've been the role players that make the right decisions, that can be the in-game leaders for the teams. Now you're in a position where you look at Rated and Joe, because these other 3 players are a bit unknown. We've seen Nolson the most, Wee Man a little bit. They have to step up. Like, their level has to rise so they can inspire those around them and really take over for the team.
Well, they got a big test here against Evil Geniuses. The units with their one victory was UIU to kick it off. Was that Monday? I believe they've been able to get 1 minute on the board this week. But EG, you've played everybody tough. You've played extremely tough competition tough. What do you bring to the table now against this newly formed units roster? And like Des said, I mean, you got basically a 1-for-1 trade on one side and a complete roster revamp on the other end of things. Another reason you might give the edge to EG.
I've never seen the guy play this game.
No, yeah, I think it was before we were recording Hot Mic. He's like, I haven't seen Cammy play on LAN. I was like, oh god. That's like Cammy. I mean, he came out at least the first match I watched him. He was frying, but a more difficult test certainly now against Evil Geniuses. And I just think, I guess for EG, like, don't let this be like a trap game. You show what you can do against top competition. You need to come in and, I guess, prove to me you're a solid team now with this addition of accuracy.
Yeah, sort of like, I don't know, a bubble, like, top 8 team, right? They should be around that area. But I think it was Temp who was like, man, like, Lamar was a good pickup for them. Like, they play well. They played Splice very well. Obviously, they beat 100 Thieves in that Game 5. A lot of us were like, is that the move they should have made? Was Phantoms the player they had to get rid of? And I think based on the results, that answer is leading towards yes, but we'll see what happens these next couple of months. As off the break, EG do win the break off. Apathy and Attach gonna find some kills, but now units focused on that rotation.
This will be a really good opening hold from EG. You're going to put your 40 points up on the board, but Wee Man doing it all. Rated gives him the help, and he at least holds down what was going to be a first push from EG. They'll still get all the time. They'll get 3 down. Look how far out you're spawning for your units.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, why does Joe push that last final seconds now? There's only Raiden and Nolson in the back. That, to me, is a huge mistake from units. Final push that just doesn't go their way. It's looking like they're going to be able to hold on as Joe comes off spawn. And, well, the spawn that he had, because he spawned across the map, gives him a pinch. EG, though, they spawn in the back. They spawn in the back to attach his position. This should be very good for them. Now a 40-point lead. What could have been a clean rotation for units is not.
Maybe gets a little bit sloppy in the setup for Orange. How much is it going to cost them? EG continue to stand tall. They go 3 for 1 on the hardpoint. Rated doing what he can. Him and Wee Man going to take down 3, make it 4. That's 3 in a row for Wee Man. A brilliant play from him, and they still have EG spawning in the back. Problem is it happens so late in the actual hardpoint. You get 4 seconds out of it, but you keep EG in the back. You're able to rotate the next to get set up, and Nolson doing what he can towards elevator, but here comes the flood. Oh my God.
Finds 3.
What a cluster from Nolson. That's one way to get that push locked down, and now it's a pipe spawns for EG. 10 seconds already to Units. A chance to get right back into this game here with a solid hold.
And Olsen still being a nuisance right now. Has the help of Cammy watching over him. Joe and Cammy now watching this balcony side. Exactly what Units needed to get themselves right back into this game. Exotic. Heard Study talk about it with this saw. He just feels like he hasn't really found his place, his play style that he wants. He was so good with the Maddox all year long, but just due to some of the pickups that they've made, he's had to use that second saw. JCap a lot more comfortable on the Maddox, so he's having a rough start at 1-11.
And somehow,
that's not good.
You still had a lead throughout a majority of it, but now a lead change impending. And there it is. Units now going to go in front. EG will be here at Pipes. Really the only one with a presence in the early going is going to be Nolson and Weeman from the Unit side of things. But they've got a bit of a pinch opportunity here. They have a 2-on-1 on one side before Exotic gets there on the long flank. Exotic get there in time. Exotic does get there. He's able to get two. They shut down one in. JCap makes the play on the other end. Nice moment from JCap and Exotic to get him set up, and now they're lining up for a cap. Feeds one team kill into Units. The ICR clicking, the Maddox doing damage as well. Lead building up once again for EG.
And Cap's had a solid week so far. Against 100 Thieves and Splice. Nothing too crazy, but I think a lot better than what people have been giving him credit for. Some people are like, how's JCap still on a team? And I think he's showing it here. Putting up some solid numbers throughout the week. Accuracy's going to find too with the help of that TAC 5 boost. Nice recovery at Pipes. They now have that 30-second lead, and they're trying to fight this rotation at Elevator. Accuracy with the ICR will get traded.
I mean, EG just dominated 1 and 4. Just absolutely dominated them. You're going to have to improve there hugely if you're Units. A nice stun out. Attached, no TAC mass, so he's full stun. Has to wait for a moment. TAC 5 used by both teams. Units still has it remaining on 3 players. Cammy not going to do him much good, though, as he's ultimately going to have to back down from that gunfight. Now on the other end,
ammo.
Accuracy has to reload, will get caught. It's just mayhem in around the hard point. It's no one really able to get any moment of comfort, but Units come out on top, and that's one improvement. They did much better this time at Elevator.
Joe just trying to be annoying. The side of Evil Geniuses does find one.
That spawn's got to be frustrating. 2 players spawned at the backside of Orange. I don't think they're ready for that because they had one like inside Orange and maybe push up Orange lobby.
Maybe Joe pushed too far.
Yeah, because you had 2 EG players like the blue side elbow, the next 2 to pop all the way deep at Orange. Maybe a little bit frustrating for Units, but it looks like they might still be able to hold on. So despite the fact that maybe a bit of a favorable spawn for EG, it's not going to be enough for them. Still 4 players up at Orange for Units.
Craftsime comes in for Joe. Gonna connect with one. Stagger the push a little bit. Nice beat down from Joe. And, well, he has flashjacking on, so that nade will connect with the enemy. Somehow Apathy able to get inside, and he uses the Crab Slam to find 2. Is that where you want to use it? That's the question, because, I mean, he finds a kill, yes, but it doesn't turn into much. That was a bit of a hero play from Apathy. And that's going to be 3 dead for Evil Geniuses. Comes down to a 1 versus 1, and Raided's going to win it. As Units. Well, now they're going to take the lead, and EG have to focus on blue.
EG to get one of the big kills, though. I think Joe was like 100, 200 off streak, so they at least got that kill. But Units making a run. They cleaned up Elevator. Pipes is the next hard point that I'm really curious about because they got slaughtered on that particular hard point. Last time it was their early setup at blue, the cluster from Nolson that held them at bay. This time they've got to do it from the other end. They've got to try to get the break and Raided. What a play from him. They've dominated Elevator in this sequence. Accuracy has 17 people to shoot at. He's going to be dropped. There's the 3 entry kills. 4 are going to go down for EG. They're still spawning safe in the back, but balcony control to Units. The contest, the time going their way.
You're seeing exactly what I wanted to see from Joe and Raided, being the 2, vets who are stepping up, putting on the best performances for their team. Joe on another 5 spree. Can he find number 6, trying to stay alive? He's so close to streaks. That's your teammate. Can he find another one? Joe somehow able to stay alive for so long, but doesn't find the streaks. That's now 2 lives he had and 2 opportunities to get streaks, but not able to find them.
Yeah, Joe has been going off, but now can Units, with the early setup, over towards Pipe, do a better job here. I don't think they got a single point really through the first set of hard points. when you talk about this location on the map. Now they're able to get inside. So far, so good. Wee-Man locking down that outer lane with the ICR. Wee-Man now with 2 in a row, make it difficult for Accuracy to get any kind of position. He backs him down, and then that opens the lane up for Joe to push.
That was actually a very bad transition from Evil Geniuses. I think they thought they had a lot of the players trapped on the right side of pipes near the blue base, and well, they tried to find those players, but one player was able to stay alive, shoot JCap in the side. They're able to recover though. Those first 20 seconds or so, I should have been a clean rotation for EG. Units were able to fight their way back into the hill. It's gonna be a little contest as Cammy's on that hill. You have rated top window, nice shots on Accuracy. But EG with a very slight lead. This game's been so back and forth.
Third set of rotations now popping. It's a 14-point game. EG in the lead. Joe in. 30 and 18 from Joe. Damage abound for sure as well. At least I would think so. He has been frying. JCap gonna get that TAC 5. We'll have it available. Joe, grab slam in. 3 are gonna drop. 4th, he can't finish. It's a TAC that does just enough. He'll get team killed.
Wow, Exotic got that second kill. Rated had his Purifier out. He must have had Splash Jacket on. They were ready for the Purifier, so a big specialist shutdown from Exotic.
Won't matter though, because units are still in the hard point. EG's gonna have to focus on the rotation instead. You've already got one set up in the back, and Cammy's gonna find that pick. Cammy actually gets both. 3 down for EG. Backside orange base control for units. And now they pushed out to a 12-point advantage. So a swing now as we chain from elevator over to orange. I'm sure that's not the last lead change we've seen, or that we'll see.
3 go down for units, but they have the spawns they want. Can they get Accuracy inside the hill? They have a Purifier on him. Exotic has Tempest, attaching in close to War Machine. So a lot of big specialists coming up, and EG able to fight their way through the front of the hill. Exotic, his turn, able to find his second. You know they're all still spawning back there. The nades come in. Is that going to count for his Tempest? No, still hangs on to it. He was still in the process of pulling it out. Accuracy with the Purifier. This has been a lot invested for EG, but it looks like it's going to pay off as Attach finds 3.
Yeah, it's a direct hit with the final one. You get several kills out of the Purifier and the War Machine. A big chance for a swing now as units seemingly had it locked down. You still have Tempest on Wee-Man, I believe Tempest on Exotic as well, which will be the final 2 specialists to come into play. Cammy about to get his TAC 5 as well. But EG, I mean, you do a good job making sure units don't put it out of reach, right? They get that final 20 seconds. Things so scary. Now what can Exotic get done with the Tempest? Connects on 1, connects on 2. 3rd is going to challenge, can't quite hit the flick. Accuracy last time in this position got absolutely swarmed. Does he have any help? No, Nolson's just able to get right through window and pick up Accuracy. That can't happen.
This is Nolson's 4th kill in a row, and it started, the first kill he had was on Exotic. Exotic doesn't expect him to climb up the ladder, and now he catches all of EG off guard. Now you have the Tempest come out from Wee-Man. He's able to connect on it too, plus the War Machine is up. 4 units. They should be able to put this game away. That's going to chain. That's going to be 3 kills for Nolson.
A little wombo combo. You get the Tempest into the War Machine to finish it out. TAC 5 comes in as well. Nolson 50 off his streaks. There's the first. There's the second. The streaks likely not even going to matter. They can win it here unless EG can get in for a couple seconds. They're able to do that, so they'll get it to another hard point. Units, though, already set up inside. Final ticks in. Units take map 1. Joe goes off in the mid-game. Nolson dominates late. What a combo there between the Tempest and the War Machine. That was a thing of beauty. Think about the value and efficiency you got out of that versus EG's. Like, EG got a bunch of kills. He didn't really turn it that much time. They got, what, 10 or so seconds. They contested a bit over at Orange. But there, you seal the game. I mean, you seal those final 30 seconds.
I think the good thing, watch this right here. So Nolson climbs up that ladder. He finds Exotic. Watch the kill feed. He gets a 2nd kill on the Apathy. Accuracy is thinking, someone's watching my mid. Nope, they're not. Nolson finds his 3rd kill, breaks the hill by himself. That opens up elbow for his team. Yeah. That 4 kill spree turns into the War Machine and the Tempest. I mean, if you're Accuracy, you're like, why is nobody watching window?
Oh, no, I mean, well, it was all Nolson. I mean, yeah. I think you nailed it perfectly. He broke 2 lanes open for them. He broke open the mid lane. He broke open the outer lane towards elevator. Like, as soon as accuracy dropped, I was like, oh, that's it. I mean, that's over. You've gotten pushed in. You've gotten into balcony. I mean, think about the frustrating sequences you had if your accuracy from that spot. Like the last time we saw him hold there, 5 people fly at him. He gets ripped after 2 of his teammates drop down. This time you try to set up with an ICR and you get flanked by Nolson, who cuts up your team through the mid. He just, I mean, it's all about positioning for the ICR. You're in the right spot. You just don't have much of a chance to make a play, but it's units on the board first. It was Cammy that talked to Jess before our first match. Hello, Jess.
Hello, Clint. That's right, I did speak with Cammy, and he is loving his experience here at the Pro League so far. He talked to me a little bit about how it is, of course, a completely different experience, much higher skill level in the matches you see here in the Pro League than kind of what he's used to seeing back home, but he is still having a great time, he says, and just loving being a part of units. And he did also say that, like we've heard from other teams, he's not too concerned with the wins or the losses, because he said in this case, each match is valuable because it will show us what we need to work on. Now, over on the side of Evil Genius, I spoke to Exotic, and not too bummed about the loss to Splice yesterday, and he did tell me, overall, we're really happy with where we're at. You know, we beat 100 Thieves, took Splice out pretty far, and, you know, could have beat them there. But overall, he also says that look, coming into units, he's not really sure what to expect. He goes, well, we are still a new squad, but we did 3-0 them at Anaheim, so we should be able to do the same thing here. That ship has sailed, but we'll see what happens with the rest of the series. Joe and Clint, back over to you guys.
Thank you, Jess. Units so far performing like units as they get the map 1 win. I still don't know that I'm in love with the team name, but they were in a tough predicament. Yeah. I would have gone with Ginger, Joe, and the Bros.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's got a ring to it, right?
Yeah.
I've been informed by our producer that's too long for graphics, so that would not work. But
what about Joe and the Bros?
Joe and the Bros. That would work. I think that could work.
Yeah.
Units. They get the game 1 win. It was back and forth that we had what felt like 10 lead changes over the course of that, but they get the final laugh with a solid hold there at blue with the War Machine, with the Tempest, with the opening play from Nolson.
And I know, I mean, we talked about the play from Nolson and how big of a game changer it was, but without Raiden and Joe's performance throughout that game,
they don't get to that point.
They don't get to that point. So Joe and Raiden step up big time for them, because the other 3 had a pretty quiet game 1. They really did. They were getting shut down. You weren't seeing a lot of productivity from them. But Joe, Raiden, they step on up, give their teammates enough opportunities, and Nolson able to take advantage of it.
Well, I did gridlock for the search and destroy. EG a chance to rebound, get back into this series after that tough map 1 loss. Both these teams, you gotta think, trying to figure out their map pools, their strengths, their weaknesses. Maybe not as much of a conversation for EG considering the 1-for-1, but for units, likely still a lot to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, they are just, you know, it's good to hear from like Cammy how just every day he's looking forward to the Pro League, you know?
I love that.
The gameplay is just such a high level. Unfortunately for him, he's only here for a week.
Yeah. Welcome. See ya. EG soaring into A. That's going to back up Wee Man. 4 went up mid-map for units. They're going to wrap back and 5 hit this through the front, it looks like.
You have a couple players watching the flame from EG, so they can take advantage of this. 1 player watching the cross. Attach and actually going to find some kills. The 3 versus 2 for EG. Now a 2v2. Units have done a solid job with the trades as Cammy's able to force a 1-on-1, but Apathy snaps.
Nice little snap. Helped out the fact that Cammy, I think, was about 1/3 of his HP, but Apathy with a nice clutch to get the round victory. Cammy, best play. He's the one that put him in a spot to maybe get the victory.
That player in the corner, all he's doing is just spotting for information, letting these players know. I think it was accuracy and attach, just how many are coming, how many to look out for. Almost able to close that round 1, but Apathy able to stay alive. And I think if you're EG, you're still just hoping for the Apathy that we can know. Maybe the update will help them. You know, obviously we talked about that with the hit scan, SOG buff. Maybe that can help them get in a bit of a better form, but.
Oh, saw JCap for just a moment.
Hopping away.
We saw JCap, you know, the guy at times kind of playing by himself or with one teammate. I think it was Arsenal we saw. He got caught a couple times in those positions where the teams would fly at him. He wouldn't be able to get away with his life. Got caught in first blooded multiple times. This time stays up, gets a kill. Keeps them at a 4v3. Joe about got incinerated by Exotic, but he evens the odds. Nolson still looking for a pick with this Paladin. Bomb down on the B site. And it looks like EG are going to take the fight Mid to ice cream.
They might find an opening as well. J-Cap, well, he's going to get caught instead. Just that timing was weird because two of his players were going on the flank. Maybe you're just hoping those guys can get in a position before you hit ice cream, but he's just trying to catch the bomb carrier.
Joe's got a freebie.
Got a couple of freebies. Should be able to find the last player as well and attach. Raided's going to clean that on up, but really the kill that changed around for me was Joe on Exotic. I think Exotic's rotating back over from A, and he's jumping top broken, and Joe's just like, hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
Pretty basic best play, but Raided gets the final kill. Now units bring this to one apiece with a rather dominant round on their offense. And that was, what, a 3v4, correct?
Well, 4v5 based off the start, yeah. His first blood went to Apathy.
You gotta get one of those if you're Cammy. Just Saw gets away from him a little bit. He looks for another opening, and they're giving it to him. Like, no one has eyes on this. Finally, the stun comes in. He's got Tac Mask to deal with it. We've talked a lot about Tac Mask and Flak here. Sometimes, depending on the setup, it tends to be kind of a gamble. But units just roll through them. They don't lose a player. And it just looks so odd from Cammy's POV. It just looked like no one gave a thought to him there at mid. They were also focused on the showers push.
Yeah, I mean, you have a 4 versus 5 inside of there if you're EG. It's on a 5 stack. Nolson still spotting towards that B side, making sure, calling out the rotations. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to just push top middle now and try to help you guys out. Able to find that last kill, but a great hold in the 4v5 situation.
J-Cap shouldering for information once again. Bottom broken. Nolson spots him, but not a chance to pull the trigger. They forced the rotation, though. It looks like J-Cap calls out. He spots Nolson. 2 rotate across, so really Exotic could be the lone man here. I think he just spotted the push from unit, so he's going to back away. Likely going to be a 5-on-5 retake now as bomb's going to get planted.
If they go quick, they have Nolson top middle still. They can actually push this with a 4 versus 5. Yeah, Nolson's all the way in the back. The spawn, there's that nade that we were talking about. J-Cap's able to find 2. J-Cap finds the 3rd. This should be a round for EG to tie the game up 2-2, and it will be.
A fantastic round from EG. Yeah, that is like, we've seen that so much on Gridlock. Like, what are they going to have? Is it going to be a frag? Is it going to be a stun? And if you're one of those unfortunate players that doesn't have Flak Jacket, that is how the round will go. What was that? It was the 100 Thieves series yesterday, right? First phase where we saw that a lot? Or was that the second series?
Yep. It's usually, too, just how those first bloods come in, right? I mean, how it opens things up.
We'll see the toss from Cap. Right
off
in
the
mid
wall.
showers. Not a chance in the world. Legs blown off.
Almost did a back.
Blood in the water.
I don't think there was any blood in the
Corpses everywhere.
water. Yeah, but there was no blood in the water.
My mind's a dark place, Joe.
I know.
The way I pictured it, there was blood.
Okay.
Nolson with a chance for a moment. Not an easy shot by any means. They're going to immediately wrap back, but look at the pressure on mid-map again. We saw units do this in a previous round where they fly out mid. Last time they back it up. This time they commit to it and they get nothing. They all get caught because unfortunately for them, EG was wrapping back at the same moment. They don't get a good timing. And it leaves Weeman in a 1v5. Almost peels accuracy off the car, but accuracy with the superior position takes the gunfight.
Yeah, that has a 1 second difference. That goes the way of units, right? If they catch them off guard on the rotation back, whatever it is, there's a lot of different variations of that round, maybe even some trades. Instead, it was just so clean for EG.
These best plays have been horrendous. I think 3 of them have just been like the final gunfight. Yeah. I mean, that should, I guess, shows it's been like a team effort from the teams. Like no one really having like a 2 or 3 piece, not big multi-kills. Cap had a nice nade, but outside of that, nothing too fancy. I feel like eventually Nolson's going to hit this. He hit it! Just not quite enough, whether it was a through the wall or below the chest. It's going to be a hit marker. Weeman with the opening first blood, 5v40 units.
I mean, that's the second time where he's just wall-banged Apathy there. Well, behind that, they're going to try to plant the bomb, but JCap's going to go up back alley. They're going to try to catch the timing. They find the 3 kills. One player is going all the way around. That's Rated.
Ooh, nice shot. Nice snap.
Can he buy enough time for Rated? If he can buy enough time for Rated,
what is that?
Olsen's still alive. So now forces a 1 versus 2. And they have no idea where he is.
Got a frag to use in 25 seconds. He's got to buy his time. They're hunting for him.
Just going to check bomb.
I got spotted. JCap just saw him. Tries to get to back alley. Tries to get away. Can't do it. They're both going to challenge. A team kill comes in, but Cap is still up, and Cap will have the defuse. Just enough time to get it done. He has had to buy, what, about 3.5 more seconds?
And then you saw Cap going to get those streaks. But this is what we talked about yesterday, defending this B side. It's so difficult when they plant the bomb and get away. They get to that 18. What you saw from EG is they wanted to catch units while they were still planning or finishing the plant. So they were in the positions. They weren't in all the power spots on the street. That's exactly what they were able to do. It started with JCap in the back alley. He pushes on up, and then the trades start to go from there. But Nolson almost makes that around for units with a couple of great individual plays.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just commented on the best play not being great, and then he does that. That was sensational stuff. JCap off of that, though, gets streaks. So you get the Lightning and a Hellstorm. Thank you for highlighting that, Paradox.
I said that.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
He just hopped to him, so I thought he was showing us. Sorry.
Come on, man.
My brain's in another world, apparently, Joe.
Jeez.
We saw JCap connect on this nade to get 2 Rated hits attached in the teeth.
Use the streak if they want to. Exotic, it seems like he got a lot of stun hit markers. And accuracy's going to find a kill as well.
Here comes the push. Rated. Even
Shoot.
the odds.
Wall bang. Got an ICR.
JCap's going to get caught. But Apathy gets the multi-kill. Apathy gets 3, closes out the round, and the search and destroy for EG continues to look clean. Nice
Behind that nade, I mean,
shots.
maybe they can.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
you get
you're
the
going to
first blood.
force a streak, right?
Yeah, yeah. Not many multi-kills until these final couple rounds, but nice play there from Apathy. EG now, 1 more round needed to tie it up. You think with these streaks from Cap, even on a map like Gridlock, it's enough to close this out. There was a hit marker last time for Nolson.
Well, you can even ping if he wants to, right? You're seeing where JCap's playing, not in like a crazy position, just shouldering, getting information. Now we'll see, is he going to use a streak?
Well, they're going to fly.
He's going to ping it. He's going to call it in.
They're try and catch him. They get the top broken, though. They go hunting for him. Spots him.
Bomb's going towards A. Like, Bomb's gone. Bomb's at A. And Cammy, once again, able to find Apathy inside Ice Cream, playing that position. Bomb's being planted. This is just a diversion. Those 3 players are out. This is perfect from units.
And the streak really completely ineffective now. Do you consider using the Hellstorm in this 4v5 to maybe find an opening? Looks like they're just going to fly on in.
I don't think so, yeah.
Nolson can't hit
They
the
have
shot.
a 4v4. Cammy's going on a wide flank right now, but Nolson with the collat.
Nice shot from Nolson, but it's still going to be a 2v2, just over 20 seconds to
Cammy
go.
got caught. Cammy got caught.
Joe, by himself. They know his position. Stun out. Tries to fly, worried there on Bob. Kick it through. EG clutch up in the most ridiculous of scenarios and get the round 2 win. Even the collat snipe, not enough for units. Joe, how do you lose that round?
I don't know. That is very difficult to do. I will say great play, great heads-up play from accuracy to watch the flank because he finds 2 inside of showers and immediately turns, catches Cammy. I just don't think that extra flank is needed when you have man advantage. I mean, I guess if it pays off, you secure the round, but this is what I was talking about, just the map awareness from accuracy.
That timing was brilliant, like right as he snaps to the doorway.
That was, that's exactly what you don't want to do.
Well, we're tied up 1-1. EG take the hard point. Or sorry, units take the hard point. EG answering the search and destroy, a series that looks like it could go the distance. We'll be right back.
The Call of Duty World League is brought to you by Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. the official beverage of the CWL. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the CWL. And TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand.
Game Fuel. Level up the game.
Hello, and welcome back. EG units all squared up at 1-1. Units struggling to really get anything going in the search to destroy. A couple of sloppy rounds we threw away, a couple there as well. EG looking good in the mode. They've had some impressive search and destroy wins so far this week. Yeah. If they can continue to look good in that mode, I mean, you're a scary team for anybody, really.
Yeah, now you look at units, you look at other guys to step up. In game one, it was Joe and Rated. See what they can do in this respawn is to hit towards this B side. Exotic trying to stay alive, does get cut down. Well, what do you know? It's Joe on the flank through lobby. They're on both zones right now. Looks like they're just going to commit to A. Weeman just trying to play his life. It's all the kills the other way of EG is JCap able to find his second.
Joe slowly moving this A progress. Rated coming in to give a little bit of support. JCap trying to play spoiler and stagger this a bit, but he's going to get caught inside a kitchen. Exotic follows it up. The trade is not there. They just fly on in, trying to play it safe from lab, but accuracy cut them apart from inside a top vent. Attach then comes through on the flank. And you've halted the push from units for now.
That was one of those sort of split pushes where the players on B are like, well, because there's only two of us here now, there's not much work to this. EG's going to come back. They're going to basically 5-on-2 us. Joe's on A, who's, you know how slow that cap is going. It was a bit of a split push. We've heard some teams argue like we should do that. We should just try to get one. And you see exactly why he's exotic.
What is that? Another example, I think, of the collateral damage as he just smokes them. Attached and exotic, I think, responsible for the last 8 kills for EG. Units just getting through their kitchen has been a nightmare. A chance for streaks for EG as well. Another highlight moment from exotic.
See if Attach can get these streaks. Joe going back and forth. He has the help, able to finish it. Just needs one more bullet into someone.
Surprise.
There is some pressure onto the B side. It's just 2 players though, Nolson, Weeman. And well, they're both gonna get taken down, and that's gonna be round number 1 to EG. It wasn't clean off the break. But they're able to recover. Attach doesn't die. A flawless round from him.
Yeah, was he 8-0 to close out round 1. Him and exotic really lighten up units. We're gonna see the 3 kills here from exotic. Nice slide. You can see just incinerated. 2 more pushing into kitchen. They made that round look easy on defense. Can they get an offensive win? Or, well, can you get attached to the streaks is the big thing. You only need 25 points. Cluster loading back up. Needs to get a bullet into somebody.
Maybe try to stack this B side as quickly as possible. You get to plus 50. Even if you get 1 tick, if you can keep Attach alive. But with apathy going down, he has to slow down a little bit. Nades are coming in. He's going to back you on up. So the first push turns into nothing for EG. Just trying to find a kill anywhere he can. I mean, if he's able to find 1, he can open that street up. Attach, there we go. Able to find the lightning, but it's only the lightning.
And you saw a frustrated look from his POV, just trying to look for any opening when your teammates keep dropping in front of you. You just didn't have a chance to get anything going. It's great you get the lightning, but you got to a 4-life deficit as a result.
There's only 35 seconds left. Like they haven't been on a point at all.
It was just so stagnant. That's the gamble sometimes when you're trying to work for those streaks. They can be so important on this particular map. Joe working together well with, I believe, Nolson inside a lab. I don't know if you're even going to touch a point right now if you're EG. So good from units. Nice shots from Apathy to make sure Cammy doesn't stagger the push even further.
Finally, they got on it.
That's going to be it.
For 0.8 seconds.
Wow. And is that just... most of it just come down to trying to play for the streak?
I mean, we talk about if you go B on this map right off the rip and it doesn't turn into something, you waste so much time. And that's exactly what happened. That first push on offense, it has to turn into either a trade, a contest, slow down the clock. Just give yourself more opportunities. Instead, it turns into nothing at the B side for 45 seconds. You have 1 push, and it was through window, and we saw Joe and Nolson just shut it down.
I think, yeah, it felt like EG's first kill came at about the 45-second mark. Like, there was just nothing. Stellar job from units to hold. Now, yeah, you get the lightning on attach, but it's Joe's turn at 6 and 4 to potentially get some streaks. How do they opt to play this for him? They dealt with so much aggression from EG the first time through. This time, maybe they're worried about the streak or worried about them playing fast. Nice
sucks.
nade from Cap. No streaks for Joe.
Catch that.
Trying to make sure Attach can't go flawless yet again on defense. He does end up dropping, but he is 12 and 4 within this game. Units bunched up kitchen once again, looking for an opening. They're going to move out, though. They're going to try to take this over towards B. We'll hop over to the B side of defense. Exotic's POV doesn't have to do much as his teammates picking up the kill on one side of the map. Now it'll be his turn to make the play. Comes in from behind. Weeman, Cammy drop. There has been basically nothing offensively from either end of this. I mean,
maybe that's the nature of 2 new teams, right? Like how much teamwork it takes to actually get even a point.
Yeah, I mean,
on Arsenal.
They're obviously it's defensive favorites certainly, but yeah, not this clean. What did units got? They got at least 1 point of progress, I think, on both last time.
Yeah, but that was off the break, right?
Yeah.
lets you appreciate some of the better Arsenal control teams like E United, 100 Thieves, just what it takes to even get one zone. Now units maybe with an opportunity as 3 go down for EG. And it looks like they are going to get a tick. You have one player, though, going all the way around. That's Attach.
Oh, he's back at his home.
Yep, and he's ready for an Olsen. This is going to start the retake situation inside of A. Just playing his life, waiting for his teammates to get inside in the positions that they want. And here we go. Attach finds another one. He's going to slide on out. And he finds 3.
That is just insane from Attach. I mean, that spot, just kitchen into lobby, he has been destroying units, and it's been on both fronts, right? Like he's assisting into lab. He's also cutting off the reinforcements, finding 2 on that side. Like, he's been a nightmare for them to handle. It's Exotic with the triple. That'll be your best play. That's his second fancy triple from that spot. Well, close to that spot over the course of this. Him and Attach really just, they're not letting units get comfortable at all.
Just starts with the breakoffs. We'll see if EG can muster something up.
Well, Raided's 150 off of streaks.
How?
I actually don't know.
All right.
I have no idea.
Well, EG, maybe they're going to use that lightning. It looks like they're going to try and fly a beat. Raiden now 50 away. Can he play his life? Not able to get it. Him and Joe both had some opportunities. The War Machine from Attach, able to find 2. Accuracy maybe getting a little over aggressive there. You get a 4-stack to sight. They 3-stack it instead. It's going to be 2 ticks. Joe going all the way around. Here comes the retake situation. Looks like units will stop the bleeding for now.
Well, they got 2 points. You think they're probably going to wrap this back to A now?
Yep, you can already see the presence of accuracy inside, and Attach is going to use a lightning. Maybe to try to catch these players on B. I'm actually not sure where he put that.
I don't know where that dropped exactly.
Me neither.
Oh, well, Joe goes up for the grab slam. He's going to get caught, not able to connect. Raiden getting tagged up. 3 down now. Make it 4 down for units. 5th is going to fall. They're going to finish B with ease. Get some progress towards A as well. The Ruin model to back steps. Not going to be able to get anywhere at Joe, who was trying to get somewhere, but couldn't do it. EG can close it out here. 9 life advantage. They're on to A. Bleeding out units right now. Nice frag grenade. Just toss it at the back door. Splits them. Manolsa's going to then have to call in the War Machine. Got to hit 1 shot if you're Exotic. And he hits the shot. 3 get chained. That'll be the round. The hip fire true as well, as they just run into it again. Give him all 5. See you later, units. A nice offensive round from EG. There's the victory in the control. Exotic is hyped. Him and Attach were ridiculous.
On defense, yeah, they were great. And then on that last offensive round, Attach opens things up. I thought it was going to be the Lightning. Instead, it's the War Machine, right? Like, he finds 2 kills with the War Machine, which then just forces units to have to hustle back to try to get B. But here's when they go back to the B side. They're on A as well. The Lightning, it doesn't connect with anything. And this gets a little bit scary because for EG, you're fighting on 2 fronts right now. But everybody wins the gunfights that they need. That's a huge kill from JCap. That would have probably connected with 2.
Think about JCap, what he did to Joe in that game. He killed Joe with the frag grenade when Joe was 1 kill off his streaks. He kills Joe mid-grab slam. Like,
we actually didn't see it, but Exotic at A found 3 kills. So his teammate got taken down. He kills 2 in window, pushes through lobby, and finds 3. So Exotic was the last one at A. He had a couple of huge moments.
He had 3 or 4 triples, I think, over the course of that game.
Well, that's what, I mean, Sully was talking about how good he's been on the Maddox all year long. So to see him with the SOG, and we saw his struggles in map 1. He is a different beast. And
I don't know how he connected on that one, but it connected.
I'll take that all day.
Him and Attach combined for, I didn't see what it was.
21 and 7 and 29.
Like, yeah, it was like 40 and 15. 17. Somewhere in that ballpark, yeah. That was, whew. A big map 3 from Attach and Exotic.
But really, both teams. I mean, I know it was
first couple rounds,
a little bit cleaner towards the end for EG, but still, some offensive work to do. It is easy to tell they're new teams.
Well, they lost that first hard point, but what about 50 points? They controlled it early. Units came back and ran away with it late. Now they'll have another crack at this. We're going to head back to Gridlock. What do you feel about a map like Gridlock for the roster that is EG with the addition of accuracy?
I like it a lot. I think this is where he can play a lot of different positions. It requires rotations, right? When I look at Splice, you know, we talked about it yesterday. I want to see them fly. EG is more of a systematic team, right? They're going to play around the rotations. You set up here. We're gonna win this due to decision making, not all skill and talent.
I know, it's a completely different team. It reminds me of EG's team before champs last year, right? Like
Right,
St.
yeah.
Marie, get set up, post up,
Yeah.
those slow maps, you felt really good about them. Pick up the pace, not so much, but when they can slow it down, you felt really good. But yeah, completely different rosters, and the point doesn't really matter. But now EG to Gridlock, and for accuracy, yeah, I mean, think about how frustrating that game one was, right? Like, especially we set up in power positions on blue, kept getting caught, kept getting flooded. Like here, certainly more breathing room, attach, and apathy. They'll combine for 4.
Well, and EG played Splice on this yesterday, right? And they won map 1.
Oof. Some nice movement there from Joe. Chris shots with the SOG will win it. Nice little flank in, attach. There's a third next to you. The pre-fire's there. 3 for attach. Him and Exotic have just been walking highlights over these last couple of maps.
And now you get the setup you want for hill number 2. You have all the position. You force units to spawn deep in the back corner. Attach now just has to play his life. Let this hill pop. Apathy will get taken down. Should spawn safe. Probably going to hold his kill cam. Actually, he calls it in a little too early. And he spawns.
He might get there for the trade, though,
Yeah,
at
he
least.
will.
Yeah. So it kind of worked out a bit, but as a attach still hasn't actually. No, attach didn't drop it. Never mind. So I had to open it up for a bit from broken. Now they'll be able to push up to get into the hard point.
Spawns flipped. That's not what you wanted if you're EG. You had the chance for it to be perfect.
It just felt like they were real. They had like the setup, but they were so spread out. Like you had what? 1 broken, 1 mid, 1 at the hard point, 1 all the way at the back spawn. Like they were just kind of all over.
Well, and then I think because Apathy doesn't hold on to his kill cam, they don't get the spawns they want. So even when attached dies, he spawns back there as well. That just opens the floodgates for units, and now they've been able to find majority of the time here.
Yeah, it might just come down to that, right? Just not holding it. Map 1 was filled with lead changes. There's our first as units now go in front. We'll rotate over to tree. Cammy and Rated trying to break in the back. The other 3 starting to flood across the map. They've got a 2-on-5 really from this position for now. Now the reinforcements come in. Cammy's POV, we'll see what he can do. Get some damage in. Him and Rated stay up long enough now to find the kills. 2 go down for EG. They slide across. Nice stun in though, but Joe somehow through it all gets 2. It comes down to what, a 1-on-2 for attach. He's been winning these throughout the course of the series. But
he buys enough time though, right? He buys enough time for the reinforcements to be here from Evil Geniuses. Just winning 1 gunfight. I mean, that skirmish just lasted so long. It's like it didn't even matter. I guess the good thing for units, you've at least gotten EG off the hill for a good amount of time when they were the first people here. So a chance for EG to grow their lead a little bit instead. Units now going to take the lead. Cam's able to find 2 kills, and those players are going to spawn all the way out.
Oh my God.
That's 3 hills now for EG, where you've won the rotation, and Units has just bullied their way on in.
Yeah. Cammy with those opening too make it look so easy to get the back broken spawns. Now into the hard point they go. Attach. Can he be the dagger to get back in? He gets 2 yet again. 3 for Attach, but nobody else in the team gets a kill. Attach gets 3. Everybody else drops outside of Apathy. Attach, the guys got a little bit of help here.
Both teams just somehow getting their way back into these hills.
Yeah, it just feels like these have been a lot scrappier than you're used to on Gridlock, right? Like no one's really had that kind of comfortable 40-second plus hold.
Yeah,
like it's just been
we see
back and forth,
solid
back and
holds.
forth.
Yeah.
This is playing like frequency.
Yeah, Hacienda, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
EG will find the final 10 seconds. Basically a tie game. Attach on the opposite side, working the overpass, able to find a kill, takes his time, saw that attack 5 boost in. This will allow Apathy to work his way up the map, find that kill on the Joe. Sorry, on the Wee Man. If he does get taken down, due to that flank from Attach will allow his team to work up the map.
Specialist starting to load up for EG. Attach about to have his War Machines. He's had a really hot start. Apathy as well, right there with him, nearly to his ruin. A flank in from Apathy, one before he falls. That'll just about get him to the grab slam.
This has just been so, like, scrappy.
Yeah.
On a map that we're just not used to it.
Hey,
Accuracy
time to
worked for
time,
some
but
streaks,
okay.
not able to get him. Attach going on the flank, able to connect with one, but we're going to focus on that second hill on this rotation. 10 seconds left top middle. Nolson and Joe are here trying to lock down the street. EG, it looks like JCap and Accuracy are going to hold while the rest of their team off spawn going to try to work this flank. They're going to try to work the pinch, and they might have done it wonderfully. But the spawns are still there for units. The spawns still back bus stop, not what they wanted.
Because Cammy went huge again. Cammy gets 2, slows down the front push from EG.
18 and 8 from Cammy.
Yeah, I think every single time I've seen him in the kill feed, it's 2 kills. Like, I kid you not. Like, every time I've looked, he's just getting them in pairs. You know how influential his multi-kills could be. Cammy going to keep up this tear. Attach, really the only one going off for EG, right? Like, everybody else, Apathy, as previously mentioned, having a decent map, but for Accuracy, Exotic, and Cap, especially Cap at 6 and 14, he's got to pick it up. But they're still in the game, despite the fact he's 6 and 14.
This reminds me a lot of map 1.
Lead change, lead change, lead change, lead change.
Unit's gonna get this early. Set up Apathy, just gonna play his life, wait for his teammates. A 10-point game. A lot of specialists to use on both sides. Attach gonna use the War Machine. Not gonna connect. He thought that was gonna be a kill, but that player had Flak Jacket ready. Joe.
I thought he was gonna direct hit him, to be honest.
I think he kind of did too, the way he looked away. You do have one player on the pinch. That's gonna be Accuracy. This is a big one-on-one for Nolson. Can he win it? No. So you can see where the spawns come out, but Weeman and Joe just trying to hold on.
EG have done enough to get in, at least get them out of the hardpoint contest for a moment. Joe goes through with the grab slam. Exotic going to be the only victim from that. Joe repositioning now inside tree. Units still here. Now this is where, yeah, you got clean broke last time for EG. You had the back spawns. You were set up great. Cammy 2 pieces. Your things fall apart. They've got to clean it up. This looks identical to the last time through. And it's Cammy in a position to make the play again. Can he smoke EG here? Here he goes. Not able to do it. Attach and Apathy combined. One team kill comes in, but you'll take it if you're EG. A much better effort. You can see the 2 players from unit spawn all the way out at underpass.
Nelson, though, being a nuisance on the hill, able to win 1, and Cammy's behind him. So they just, based on a couple of gunfights, they're able to get in. They don't have to break the back this time. They just go forward. Nolson gonna use the War Machine, but Apathy with that close spawn gets right back into the hill.
It got scary for EG, but
got a little messy.
Now it'll be, what, just around a 15 to 20-point game if they can get the rest of this time.
Joe, close to some streets. This is where you would love to have them. Able to win the gunfight. It's been a couple of players close. At least finds the Lightning.
Well, that's big now, because if you get in here and now you have the Lightning to break another rotation
once again,
next.
You just break it. That's been 3 or 4 hills for EG where you've had the early rotations. You had the setup you want. And they just they lose the gunfights. We saw it in hill number 2. We saw it at Showers. We've seen it twice here now. Units have made this scrappy. This is exactly what they've wanted.
Nolson can't hit the shot. 3 down now for units, but they have that lightning strike to call in if they need to. A multi-kill yet again for Cammy. He's going to call in the TAC 5 immediately. The pressure going to come through. They call the streak in on the opposite side of the central truck that allows him to continue soaking up the clock. 30 seconds to go. They can nearly put it out of reach here. Apathy with the grab slam and some nice shots from the SOG. Keeps units out of the hard point and keeps EG into this game. Now they need somehow a clean transition and break to second.
Yeah,
Cammy with a multi-kill again.
Raid's going to use the vision pulse to try to make sure they don't get that accuracy. Had to respond with his as well. So both teams with vision popped. TAC 5 used on the side of EG.
And the only thing you're going to have is what Tempest on both, really, is going to be the main thing. Who can make the better play?
And Attach hold on.
Rated.
Oh, units are spawning out. This is a chance for EG. Finally, they're going to get a solid, clean break. Now they have a chance to hold, but Weeman and Joe hold on. It was a 2 versus 5. It was a 2 versus 5.
Thankfully for EG, you get the 2 kills from Cap, but the fact that Weeman and Joe go so big, you weren't able to get control of inside of Sushi, so units just pushing up the map, working in for the contest. Joe can't quite find an opening. Weeman again with 2, and now they'll be in for the contest. 222, 177. Weeman just continuing to fry with this ICR on this hard point. 3 in a row for him. Units get through. This will get them just under the 240 mark. EG has to opt to rotate. And they need to just be perfect, which they've been far from throughout this map.
They've been the opposite of perfect throughout this map. I mean, I know it's still a 60-point game, but they've had a lot of opportunities to take this map forward, and units with their individual plays and their gun skill have just taken over. And once again, you get into a position where you early rotate the showers. And I thought units was going to have a chance to break on through. They will hold on. The attach had to use War Machine.
Exotic and Weeman both still have their Tempest. Exotic Tempest out. He made such a flashy play. That would look close, look good to me. Weeman does hit his shot. That's going to be 3 down. How could they possibly get up from this? They're going to get back on their feet. Accuracy and JCap, the only 2 players not knocked, get the kills. Now you get some streaks onto attach. You'll get the remaining time. EG can do this, Joe. They've been broken so many times. They need 1 break on their behalf.
Oh, Exotic still has it. He's able to connect. They use the ping of the lightning to get all the information they need. They're able to find the kills. Now Attach is going to use the lightning. There is 1 player going around. Rated can make the play. Attach knows it, but Rated, I think, found the opening. Rated found the opening, able to find 1. How do they respond off this? They have to try to hold the front.
240, 240. This is the final push from units. 2 are going to drop for EG. They get into contest. They get the break. EG still spawning close enough. They might be able to get in, but Rated with 2, 5 seconds for UIU.
No.
A cluster into his own face. Rated just enough, and units clutch up again in the hard points. I thought EG had it, Joe.
Yeah, then Rated slipped through. There was nobody watching the back. Attach was in his lightning strike. And
It reminds you of like Nolson making the play in the game 1, right? Like somebody slips through, the focus ends up shifting for EG, and they fall apart.
EG just got to be frustrated. They have to be so frustrated. I mean, props to units for getting this to a game 5 because they made it scrappy.
What did I say before this? I had a feeling we were going the distance. I think you said the same thing.
Yep.
Felt like an extended series. That's what it's been. We got a game 5.
The Call of Duty World League is presented by PlayStation 4, the official platform of the CWL, Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the CWL, and Republic of Gamers, the official monitor of the CWL.
It's EG, and what do you know? Another Game 5. This will spell 3 in a row for them. They've split 1-1 so far. We'll see if they can get another Game 5 victory here, or if units can clutch up. I mean, units have been the definition of clutch, at least in the hard points. I mean, if you want EG to get the maps to improve, they're certainly doing that this week.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big talk around Enigma 6, right? Prior to Anaheim, they just took everybody the distance, and EG's doing that as well. I mean, you thought after a Game 5 win with 100 Thieves, heck, even at Game 5 with Splice, you're like, all right, they're going to come in here and probably take care of business in 3 or 4, but it's another Game 5.
No, it's just, I don't know what it was. Like, I just felt it in my gut, in my heart, that this was a 5.
I did too. I looked at that and I was
yeah,
like,
just, I don't know. It's like, it looks like one.
that's the one.
And that is exactly what we got. It's going to be Arsenal.
Well, especially after yesterday, what we had like 2 3-0s and.
Yesterday was fast. We were down like 7:45 or something.
Yep.
Units working their way up towards this B side. Now, JCap, we saw them, yesterday versus Splice. Cap wasn't finding, I feel like he got, caught 2-3 times from this position yesterday when they'd start to work up this straight. Whether it was with the nade, whether it was getting a little over-aggressive, getting poor timings. He was struggling. This time, he's got accuracy as his guardian angel. His accuracy gets 2 easy picks with the ICR, forces a rotation out of units. They're all going to opt to wrap towards mid-map. EG now flying as a flock right now, as they just need to trade effectively to close out round 1.
Yeah, you still have bomb all the way in the spawn, 4 units. They are going to wrap back. You have number 5. That's rated in a position to make a play.
Well, Weeman is like, I am out of here. They're all flying in. Can they get some crossfire?
They've actually juked EG. B site's wide open. Can they get a picker on this rotation? If they can make this like a 3v4, it's possible. But attaches here now, just misses the flick. Misses that shot. We see him hit some ridiculous shots, but accuracy attach. They're going to find the next 2.
Accuracy now with 3 in the round. Exotic pushes out the final player, and EG, hold on, perfect round. 5 up, 5 down for units.
I'm going to be honest, I was very confused that round because I saw rated on Ruin. So I was like, oh.
Honestly, I didn't even look at the specialist through that opening round.
I just saw that and I was like, has Rated been using Ruin this entire time?
I don't even pay attention to it in search anymore. It's like you don't ever really.
No, I know that's probably what it comes down to. But I was just like, huh.
You said that, I was like, what? Yeah, no, Attach had some nutty snipes here yesterday. He's had an incredible series. Even in the game, even the 2 losses, he was absolutely frying. EG go up 1-0, and now maybe going to play around Attach with this sniper rifle. Olsen peeks for a second.
That's his big toe.
His big toe is just obliterated. Like, it's not, you're not gluing that thing back on.
The pressure's here. Cammy's already near this window. We saw this a lot yesterday where I believe it was Splice and EG were just isolating the snipers. Looney and Attach, they got caught at times. Attach is going to get caught here. But the response from EG is going to be go towards that B site. And Olsen goes for the pick and said he might get picked himself, and he does.
Tries to
comes the trades.
Tries to go for the slide, just can't quite hit it.
It's bomb down.
The trades work out, though, for units. 3v2. The 2 remaining players from EG wrapping this back to mid. Different numbers game, but similar problem that we saw in the last round for units. They should collide here. Cammy gets another one. JCap somehow lines up 2, gets himself in a 1v1, a chance to clutch the 1v3. 20 seconds to go. He spots him, can't gun him. Joe shuts it down. Cap had a chance to have a Game 5 changing play.
Well, I think it was one of those things where he's just trying to open the door, and then he ends up seeing Joe. So he's like, all right, I'm going to catch him off guard. Doesn't end up happening. Joe's able to snap, but almost a heroic play from Cap, who, remember, in Game 2, he ended up earning some streaks, had a very solid game.
Not usually known to be his mode of choice. But solid start from him. Attach now looking for the angle. Olsen thought he was going to start weaseling his way forward a bit, but it's going to be central lab control for units. They've got 3 there, and Joe is pushed all the way up to the doors. Playing it safe, playing it passive from EG. That's a flick and a half. Attach hits the headshot. Apathy wins a gunfight mid. Nice snipe from Attach.
Rated's there, though, just trying to play sneaky, trying to find the opening. The problem is his team is not giving him time. They're getting picked. Rated, he's in a pounce. The trade's there from EG. Nice. Well, Wee Man, he's all alone in the middle of the map.
Like Attach is literally just looking for quick scopes. I think he tried to go in and catch him lobby. And him getting shot by both, but yeah, he's having some fun. I don't see that flick yet again. Nice little snap. No hit marker on that one, right between the eyes. All right, I was about to say, like, is anyone kind of going off for units right now? Not really. You still got, Nolson hasn't been able to find a kill.
They sort of spin who can win an offense.
Yeah,
Nobody so far.
It's true. Here comes the fluff from EG. Can they catch the sniper? They do. Exotic, nice kill, gets behind the cover as well. Joe tagged up within an inch of his life. First blood way of EG. Weeman, though, instantly answers back. Weeman goes massive. Accuracy finishes 1. There is a team kill with the frag grenade from Rated. So the advantage to EG. Now 1 versus 1. Cap once again in a 1v1, and this time Cap can make the play. The hell went down at the end of that round.
Yeah, so you had the rotation come over, and Rated, I just think, 1 tick too long, cooks that nade, ends up killing Joe in the vent. He was trying to put it out on the pillar. Cammy comes up the back stairs while the rest of the fights are going on. But JCap gets his redemption, wins his one-on-one.
That sequence reminded me of the Hardpoint. But Cap giving a couple one-on-one.
That's what happens with new rosters, man. I mean, we've watched like such great and clean gameplay for a while, and now it's starting to get a little bit sloppy. That's what these matches are for.
They're going to get better and better over the course of the week, that's for sure. Nolson versus Attach. Well, I told you, Attach is literally trying to go for quick scopes. His movement earlier, I was like, he's trying to world star people like this is the pub. Like, what was that?
No, it's not.
I know he can hit some shots, but like... And now Nolson, oh, Exotic picks up the sniper. Exotic picks up the sniper. He can do it too. There's been 4 deaths. All have been snipes. Nolson with 2, Exotic with 2. Now it's a 3 versus 3, down to a 2v2. Exotic and Accuracy up against Cammy and Rated. Exotic gets stunned at the edge, backs up. Accuracy has his cross. Now Rated. Left alone, 30 seconds to try and make this clutch. The push comes in, the melee's there, can't get away. Accuracy does his job in the back line with the ICR.
Yeah, you see Cap and Exotic. Cap's like, all right, let's go. His eyes like, yeah, you see that? But yeah, just finds the sniper on the ground, and units, they don't expect it. Here we go, we're going to see it. Whew. I'm going to snap on the one.
Woo!
Nice jump sniper. Second.
Attach, put it down! I don't think you can hear me. I mean, he said some good shots too. That was nice. That was nice from Exotic. Yeah,
got a little bit worried when Exotic got full stun, but Accuracy was watching over him.
You gotta feel like it's Christmas when you're that player and you find the paladin on the ground. Like,
yes.
Ooh, yeah.
I gotta make the play. I guess I'll make it.
4-1 now for EG. That's one of the few rounds I've seen like that though. Literally like 2 down for each side, all 4 are snipes. EG pushing this up mid. Nolson was backing up for a moment. He's going to have a chance to hit a shot here. Well, actually, it looks like they're going to wrap it back, go through window to beat Cammy is tucked away. Right at the corner by the bomb site. Can he get a kill and get away? He at least gets one. He at least gets one. Does his job.
Stay alive. Yeah, Rated has to try to stay alive here. Rotations here. Woo! Nolson with the flick. There goes the pressure, and Rated wins the gunfight. He stays alive somehow. Now it's a 1v4. The rotation was there. Nolson gets the flick. But the fact that Rated stays alive in that deep pocket wins units the round.
Desperate round. Avoid the 5-1 deficit. It's gonna look like a sniping montage throughout the course of this game 5. I like it. EG still with a big edge, but Unit's bringing it just a bit closer. Can Units get an offensive round win? Attach back to the sniper.
Just expecting him to quickscope something.
Yeah, right. Dude, after he hit those 2 shots, like just watching his movement, I was like, he is trying to world star someone. Nolson just inching his way forward, trying to get the angle. Playing deep is cap and accuracy.
Oh, accuracy.
Out and back in, able to heal full. Does he show his head again? We'll switch over to the other sniper and and attach. They've got too many players to start with an A on that team.
It'd be 3.
It's too many. A very slow round, but now with 30 seconds left, Units have got to make this push. A lot of pressure on attached to the shot, and coming in through vents is going to be Apathy. They're holding it, though. Apathy should get caught.
Nope.
Okay, I thought for sure they were going to be able to...
And he stays alive.
And he stays alive. Kill. He's able to slide across to the second. Nice movement there from Apathy. Apathy with 3 dismantles Unit. Still no success offensively. Apathy with 4. Give him the ace. Feed him the ace. Hunt him down. It's Exotic that gets the final one, but it's Apathy that wins the round for EG. I saw on the minimap like the arrow just staring at back. I saw someone just had a pre-aim there with a Maddox and he was going to get caught, but he gets the angle, gets the kill, flies out. We'll see it from Apathy's POV now. Did they just give that? I swear when I glanced at the minimap for a second, I thought somebody had eyes on it.
Well, they're probably worried about it. I mean, if you peek out and watch it from too far of an angle, Attach just has an easy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a bit of a gamble.
I must have just taken my eyes away. I thought someone would.
But that just comes down to Units just taking so long to commit to a bomb site, right? Just it comes down to 30 seconds. Attach and Apathy, just play the information they have. It's a free kill on the bomb planner. Reminds me a lot of the control. Just the offensive rounds right now from Units aren't there. Well, a very fast A hit once again from EG. We saw this earlier in the game. Right back to it.
Cluster will slow down the outer lane at least. Nice stun in. Everybody on Units is stunned. Oh, 2 of them are full stun, for God's sake. So Attach is just going to slide across.
Out of it, though.
They come out of it at exactly the right moment to get a kill and make this a 3 versus 3. But site control to EG. Now just thinking about this bomb plan. It looks like they're trying to get it down. That made me nervous just with his head in the scope.
They're able to get away. Nolson's worried there's somebody in the corner. There's one player who stayed up. That's JCap playing that second pillar. He's got to be the point man for the team. Just trying to play his life. The pre-fire comes through. Stun in as well. The half stun will help him.
The trade, though. Accuracy. Once again, that Guardian Angel ICR in the back. Exotic wins his 1, 2 versus 1. Nolson's got a hunt. Just no time to work with. They're split. And accuracy will get the timing. Map 5 to EG. They're 2-1 on the week. 15 maps played. As EG look to continue to improve, and frustration on the face of Rated is maybe feels they let that one get away, but for the most part, EG dominated the map 5.
Yeah, there's gonna be some frustrations, right? Like you and I were frustrated casting that, right? Like you could see the mistakes from both sides of the stage. But when you make new rosters, you're going to have mistakes. You're going to have to fix them. But EG, as you said, 15 maps, but 2-1. And these repetitions are going to help them. You can see that RSLD was clean.
And for EG, just a big victory to continue trying to improve as we get ready for Miami. Yeah, I guess slowly but surely, maybe becoming a little bit of a believer. I don't know that this team has a chance to get a top finish, but I guess I'm starting to believe this team has a chance to get an upset. Maybe you would expect at Miami. If they come in, they maybe make it out of the play bracket. That's the spot they're in, and they upset somebody. That's all I'll peg at that for now.
Yeah, the big thing for me just comes down to the second SOG. Like you could see how uncomfortable Exotic is on it. Doesn't perform how he does with the Maddox. So those hardpoint maps, those control maps where they have to rely on a second SOG, that to me is a clear issue.
Could be, certainly, but we'll get it back over to Katie in the desk before we get into our next matches.
Thank you so much. And there you have it, Evil Geniuses getting another Game 5 win. And kind of what Merc and Maven were just discussing about Exotic and kind of EG improvements overall, though. They won today. If they win tomorrow, they're in playoff bracket contention. So Do you feel optimistic about them, Pac-Man, or do you still think there's too many kinks to work out?
No, I feel like they're trending upwards. Their search and destroy is really strong. They've only lost one this week. And to what Joe was just saying, if Exotic can get more comfortable in that second SOG role, I think they'll be a really good respawn team. They're losing these respawns, but they're really close games. They're not getting blown out of the water by any stretch of the imagination. They're just losing close games. There's little things that they can do to fix it. There's some decision making at the end of, especially that second hard point. Had Attach used the lightning and not used his ping, they would have seen Rated going all the way around. There's little things that you can do along the way that can fix up those little problems. Because those games are close. So I think EG being so strong in Search and Destroy right now is a positive for them. Like, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and across the board, actually, it's been all Game 5s for them so far this week. And, of course, they lost to Splice in that Game 5, but they've also beat 100 Thieves, not in full form, but definitely showing so much more life, Nameless.
Yeah.
So
they could be 3-0 right now, right? Like,
yeah.
that control goes a little bit different yesterday. And, you know, going Game 5, like, it doesn't look as pretty, but it's a lot of practice, and land practice as well. Like, they're playing a lot of maps in these last 3 matches, and their Search and Destroy looks incredible. They're 5-1 in Search and Destroy this week, and being great at Search and Destroy is something that can be very good against those top teams that are weaker. You got the Phases of the world, the 100 Thieves of the world, that can be weak at Search and Destroy at times. So if Evil Geniuses can iron out their kinks in Hardpoint, they can be an upset threat. Like what Clint said, like come into the plan, win a match, get in, and upset a team. They can definitely do that because having your strong suit as Search and Destroy can be deadly to those teams.
And we just saw a team in E6 who went through all Game 5s pretty much in their weeks right in the league, and then what they do at Anaheim, they came in and had their best performance. Yeah. Came in and dominated. Some of those reps, just going Game 5 on its face, might look a little sloppy, but it's a way to get repetitions as a team and get some comfortability as a unit.
But on the other side, Study, of course, there's units not finding much success. So going forward, you know, they have tomorrow, Miami, Champs. Are you worried for them?
Obviously, they wanted to be able to close out the series in a 3-2, but the fact that they won 2 respawns, this is a team that's been, 2 hard points. That's a team that just basically was just formed. You know, 2 players from one team that were always playing together, and then Nolson, Weeman, and Cammy have been playing together as well. But the fact that their teamwork in Hardpoint overall is just good enough to at least be beating EG in both hardpoints, the only thing they have to take away from the series is obviously their Search and Destroy. Once they're able to get that on point, because remember the old Dana roster, when Rated and Joe were both on it, they were really consistent at S&D when they needed to. So if they're taking both hardpoints against EG, the only thing they have to focus on is S&D, they'll be okay.
So then, Nameless, to what Study just said, if you have a new roster, new people kind of trying to figure things out, do you think there's more potential in a new roster that's doing really well in hardpoints or one that's doing really well in S&Ds, or does it really matter?
I guess it just depends on the players you have in your team. I would say the team that's, like EG being great at Search and Destroy is very promising because they have really strong individual players on their roster, so I think they can put together that Hardpoint. If a team's getting blown out in Hardpoint and they're good at Search and Destroy, I wouldn't have much hope for them. But they're not getting blown out in Hardpoint. It's very close, and they have players who can individually take over games. So I think Evil Geniuses will figure that out because when they scrim, that's what you do. You play a crap ton of Hardpoint, so I think they'll get a lot better.
Your units, what is your mindset going into tomorrow? What are you hoping to?
I mean, tomorrow you just want to win, but I would really focus on that search. Like probably just go back and watch some VOD as a unit, watch maybe what some other teams are doing, because right now their search is abysmal. So if they could actually pull out a couple searches here and there, they'll have a lot more confidence before they head into Miami. Maybe they should do what 100 Thieves did when they get the chance to go home and scrim some top AM teams, play some other European teams if they go back there, and just play Search and Destroy against them and get some reps in. Because right now it's just they're clearly not on the same page. They're not. The players individually on units are pretty talented from what we've seen. Yeah. In Search, you're just not seeing it because they're not on the same page at all.
All right, let's look at our schedule. 2 more series to go, a 3-0 and a 3-2. We'll see what happens with UYU versus Splice. That's what's going to be coming up next here in just a short couple moments. But again, FaZe Clan 3-0'd Enigma 6 to start off the day. Evil Geniuses was able to pull out a win in their 3rd Game 5 of the week over units. Coming up, UYU and Splice.